look into your face, my beloved, beautiful sisters. We are looking into the face of the reflection and the second self of God Almighty. Always know, beautiful sisters, that you are the very best that the earth has produced, because through your womb, through our womb, the Messiah was born. Muhammad is the name of our father that the scriptures say would be sealed in our foreheads. Is that right? So you don't look anymore for Biyat, for Hassan, Hussein. When you look at us, we are forming a solid wall, a solid rank of warriors for Muhammad, being named Muhammad, to be able to move out in the offensive, not defensive. Because when you attack us, we are one. We are Muhammad, we are Allah, and we will live into the eternity, into a new world of Islam.
This is a woman beyond genius. Beyond genius. Mother Tynnetta is creating a new cultural revolution. She goes all over the world. She has written symphonies and never took one lesson in music composition. She reads the Quran, and from it she creates. Magnificent.
Assalamu alaikum. First, I want to thank my beautiful and precious daughter, Safiya, for inviting me and others to share a few words on this occasion of Mother Tynnetta's birth anniversary, May 10th. What a special day and a special blessing from Allah to all of us. And I thank Allah for my mother. I thank Allah for producing such a wonderful woman as a wife and helper of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In our prayers, we say, my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah. My mother lived that and fulfilled her vow to Allah. As she dedicated her prayers to Allah, she made sacrifices in the cause of Allah. She gave her life, even to her death, all for Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. My memory of my mother is that my mother was completely devoted to the mission of her husband. My daily memories of my mother is that she always woke up praying, studying the Quran, and writing and making notes from her reflections from the reading of the Quran and the reading and studying of the revelation that Allah gave to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. May her testimony and her legacy live forever. And may the contributions that she made to her nation enrich us, elevate us, and make us more into the perfect people that Allah desires to make of the black man and woman of America. Happy birthday, Mom. Thank you, Allah, for giving to me such a wonderful, precious, righteous mother and Mother Tynnetta Muhammad.
my most fondest memories with my grandmother was when she would come stay with us in Chicago when we were living here at that time. And we had a piano in our living room. And she would always go to the piano and start playing pieces. Of course, she was self-taught, so she wasn't reading any musical notes. She wasn't reading any compositions or anything like that. So she would just kind of go with the flow of it, and she would create any tune and any harmony and any music piece. So my sister and I, we would hear her, and that was like our cue, like it's time to start dancing, right? And even at that time, we were taking all kinds of dance classes, so we were definitely in ballet. We would just start doing ballet and start dancing and like acting like we were these like professional ballet dancers all across the living room and in the family room. I mean, we would go all around the house just like, you know, dancing to her tunes. That was such a joyous moment for me, and definitely unforgettable, just to be able to see her behind the piano and do what it is that she loves to do. She would be so focused, she would be so into it, and she would look up and look at us, and then she would smile and laugh, and she would just keep going. I mean, just beautiful. It was such a peaceful moment too, just really fun, and that's something that always had a huge impact. Mother Tynnetta was such a unique woman. There are so many different levels to the different types of works that she's done that are all inspiring within itself. What has impacted me most of all when I reflect on all of it is the fact that impossibility does not exist, especially for a woman. You know, the woman has been portrayed in such a way, especially in Islam, as suppressed and oppressed, and she was the complete opposite of all of that. When she had an idea, when she had a vision, when she had something in her mind that she wanted to manifest and create, nothing and no one could get in her way of doing just that. And that is such a quality to have. It says that you know your value, you know your worth. The faith and belief that you have in yourself is absolutely motivational. She always talked about the New World Order, and she was living that. She was that amongst us and continues to be. So I am always inspired, will always be inspired, inshallah. All praise is due to Allah and Mother Tynnetta Muhammad.
Mother Tynnetta Muhammad inspired me to want to be a part of the hereafter and paradise. She gave me one of the greatest attributes that you can give a person, and that is courage. She taught me collective consciousness and transparency. I would see her do this on many occasions on our many adventures. I am grateful to Allah for giving her to me and the world as a gift. I experienced Mother Tynnetta jumping into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, right where the ocean meets the sea. We saw a pod of dolphins, and Mother Tynnetta was the first one to dive off the boat to meet the dolphins, and they were wild dolphins. And of course, right after her, because of her courage, I was able to jump off the boat and be with the dolphins, and that was one of the greatest experiences that I had. Mother Tynnetta taught us the true meaning of kindness, the kind of kindness that makes the world a better place to live. It was called genuine kindness. She was a very genuine person, and in a lot of respects, she was just like a brand new girl on the planet Earth with her newness that she presented to us. I also met many cultures of people traveling with Mother Tynnetta, and the intentional kindness that she showed each and every person and left them with something better than when we came. She had a type of temperament that would let you know that you were better and that you could do better. I saw Mother Tynnetta heal people just with her unlimited kindness. At one time, she is so kind up in the southern part of Mexico, up in the Costa Chica area. She gave them to put in their library over 400 books. She would sit down and communicate and talk with people and give them the time that they needed so that she may share the Holy Quran and words of wisdom with them. And she made me a better person, a better mother, a better wife, and a better sister. And she made me and confirmed with me the love of knowledge. Thank you for asking me to share these words about Mother Tynnetta Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. One of my favorite stories of being with Mother Tynnetta, we were in LAX. She told me this story. There was a sister who had a meeting with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and she was late because of the plane wouldn't land. She was nervous at first, and she was like, well, I have an excuse, the plane wouldn't land. So when she got to the meeting, she told the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad the reason why she was late, because of the plane wouldn't land. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told the sister, you should have willed the plane to land. Fast forward, we're in Mongolia, we're at a presidential dinner. There's this group that is performing, and we needed performers for Taha. So Mother said, Leah, go and speak to them. Now, mind you, we're in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. I don't know Mongolian. So I was like, yes, ma'am. So I go to speak to them. They didn't know a lick of English. I didn't know a lick of Mongolian. So I'm trying to do sign language and whatnot. They did like this. And then they went to the back and got someone, and the name tag said English. I said, 1 second, I have to go get my mother. So I said, Mom, they brought an English interpreter came from nowhere. She said, you see? About willing a thing, sister? I said, yes, ma'am. And then, so the name of the group, long story short, the name of the group was Tumran Ek. The meaning of Tumran Ek means vanguard. So anything that you will in the name of Allah, it will come to pass. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. In thinking on Mother Tynnetta Muhammad, what impressed on me the most was her faith and strength as a believing woman. She was a model student in constant search of knowledge, a world traveler sensitive to the presence of Allah wherever she was, always in the path of Allah. She personified the aims as written in our student class creed. I am thankful to Allah for every moment He allowed me to be in her presence. I was always struck by her example of grace and high civilization. It was so awesome and humbling to see how she considered those around her, showing respect and care for even those of us who were allowed to be there to assist. I am thankful for this opportunity to briefly share a memory. Once, Mother Tynnetta asked me, if I asked you about China, what do you think of? What do you see? I responded, describing the images that came to mind of my travels to China. In that moment, she said and taught me that whatever I think on, wherever or whatever it may be, there I am. So in recalling memories of Mother Tynnetta and thinking on her presence and spirit, there we are, with her in spirit, and we can continue to learn from her example and what she shared. All praise is due to Allah.
My favorite memories with Mother Tynnetta Muhammad was actually when I was sent on a detail to get her from the airport and asked me about my oldest daughter, and I was explaining to her how she was playing the cuatro, and she asked me like what it was, and she was so intrigued, and she was like, I can't believe I've never heard of the cuatro. So I was telling her the history of it and things like that, and so she made me pull up on my phone the instrument because she wanted to hear it, and she made me pull up these different, pull up the famous artists and wanted me to play the cuatro for her, and she loved it. And she was saying how, Sister Yana, what if the nation produced its first indigenous instrument orchestra? She was like, could you imagine the reach that the nation would have if we had an orchestra filled with young people playing the indigenous instruments of the different peoples? It's like, oh, the reach it would have. And that's something that always stayed with me.
One of my most memorable moments that I recall with our beloved Mother Tynnetta Muhammad was when I was just maybe a year registered in the nation and working at the Final Call administration building. Mother Tynnetta from time to time would come in the building, and I was always awestruck and really starstruck to see her. because for so many years I had been reading her articles and feeding from them, and they helped me so much in becoming just aware of who I was and letting me know that the Nation of Islam was for someone like myself who had my roots in Mexico. One day she came into the Final Call building. I still don't recall how we got into a conversation. I know I didn't approach her. We somehow struck up a conversation on a book I was reading about Mexico. I told her that I was reading about the origin of the word Mexico, and she mentioned how she had not been able to find a good explanation of what the origin of it was. And as I began to tell her what it was, I remember how she lit up, because one of the definitions that the archaeologists and the scientists had given for Mexico was that it meant the hidden secret part of the moon, or the belly button of the moon. And she just lit up. And she shared with me why, in regards to our lessons and how our history of how the moon came into existence. The other definition that was given was that it was the hidden or secret part of the maguey, which is a plant in Mexico. She thought I had said magi, and she started telling me about all these things she was studying about the magi from the scripture. And I said, no, mother, maguey. And she's like, oh, the plant. I was like, yes, ma'am. It was just such a blessing to be able to interact with someone of such profound wisdom and knowledge. I'll always thank Allah for these little moments and these little snapshots that I was blessed to have with our beloved Mother Tynnetta Muhammad.
One of the greatest and fondest memories that I think we both have of our beloved Mother Tynnetta Muhammad was the unique opportunity that we got to spend with her and Brother Ishmael and his family some years ago, where we would just come around the table and break bread, but we would also dive into the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I was always happy to hear what Mother Tynnetta would share, and she would share some profound insights from the teachings. She had a very great sense of humor, a quick wit about her, and she had an overall calming effect when we would spend time with the family. It was always an honor and privilege to be in that space and discussing Islam as taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad with Mother Tynnetta Muhammad.
One of my fondest memories of Mother Tynnetta, which, I'm sure a lot of people may know, there are people who know this side of her, but I feel like I'm privileged and blessed. Mother Tynnetta was an absolute soldier. Now, you may not believe this, but Mother Tynnetta Muhammad, she actually taught me how to drill. Really? So in the early 80s, I don't know exactly what year, but when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan first started rebuilding the nation, Mother Tynnetta was teaching a lot of the classes, or she was teaching the MGT classes, or teaching the MGT. So we came here to Chicago. The minister's first MGT captain, her name was Sister Christine, and we went to her house. We used to have classes at different believers' house. So we went to Sister Captain Christine's house, and Mother Tynnetta Muhammad was teaching us a class. Mother Tynnetta taught so many different things. She taught a little bit of every unit that day. In addition to that, the treat was she talked about Muhammad's military drill. This was always kind of funny to me, because even when she would be serious and she would be talking about us being at war with the enemy, her voice was really high. And I remember her saying, "Sisters, understand we are in a decisive battle for our very lives." And I remember her saying that. But the thing that I really enjoyed is she talked about military drill. She talked about why we turn our heads first and then we turn our bodies. She also talked about the swiftness and the quickness of our drill, and that we don't drill slow. And you know me, that's why to this day I don't like slow drilling. And we in the early days, the sisters were not loud. We did not stomp our feet. That came later on, but the sisters were distinctly different in the way that we drilled. But Mother Tynnetta Muhammad, not only did she teach our classes and all of the 7 units, and this was as the directress of the MGT, even though there was an MGT captain, but she taught, and I have to say, I feel like she taught me personally how to drill. So if it was not for Mother Tynnetta Muhammad, I would never have been a drill instructor probably. To this day, I think that the essence of Muhammad's drill and how we should apply the principles of drill to our entire life, that stays with me. And it's in my head, and I drill in my sleep, and but that is one of the most memorable moments that I had. Of course, everything else that she taught us in the training class about how important it is to study, but teaching me how to drill, what? I will never forget that.
I first like to say thank you, and that I'm actually humbled and honored to be able to share with you the impact that your grandmother, Mother Tynnetta, had on my life. She was such a phenomenal woman. She was someone that, in my journey with modest fashion, I could always go to her and speak with her about the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, as I was making my way into pursuing this as a profession. And I remember her telling me that allow my passion and my love for uplifting the women of God to be the thing that was the driving force, because I would always have challenges as I was on this journey of building modest fashion. So she impacted my life in so many ways. She was always available to receive a call from me no matter what. She was always there to inspire me. And I really, really, really owe everything that I've been able to accomplish and achieve to great women like your grandmother. And as long as I am here on this earth, I will continue to pursue modest fashion and a new dress, a new mind, and a new woman, because my inspiration and my love comes from standing on the shoulders of that great woman, Mother Tynnetta Muhammad. May Allah always be pleased with her. And I thank Allah. And I can't thank Allah enough for allowing me the opportunity to interface with such a phenomenal, spiritual, godly woman, a woman of God. Thank you for this opportunity.
Phenomenal. She taught us, she was my first MGT instructress, number one. She taught me how to do rak'ahs, number two. She told us about doing the 19 rak'ahs, then the 114 rak'ahs. Then she taught us to read the Quran once a week, every 7 days. So I did all of that by the grace of Allah. Mother Tynnetta was the one that insisted that I become a designer. I had no interest or thoughts about it. She kept insisting. Every time we did a fashion show, she would ask me, "Where's your design, Sister Amina?" And I was like, "I'm not a designer." "Yes, you are." She would let me know. She showed us how to do it. She showed us what to do, and she taught us how to have faith in ourselves. And regardless of what you're going through in life, keep your Islam. And that was what's important. And she said, don't, regardless to whom or what, stand on your ground, stand on your Islam, and keep the faith. And I'm forever, eternally grateful.
One of my experiences with Mother Tynnetta is when I was modeling for her Fashion 19. And one of the things that really just got into my soul is when I was walking and she walked up to me and just with a smile on her face and just politely lifted my head up, and she advised me to walk like I'm receiving gifts from the universe. Like, wow, that was just so inspiring to me, especially being newly in the Nation of Islam, about 6 months. I was only 18 at the time. And I just really embraced what she said, and just following her through her life and her writings and being involved in some of her talks. She just inspired me to know who I am and to know what I mean to Allah and what I can give in this universe.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sister Harmony. I am from Los Angeles, California, and I am the daughter of Sister Sarita Muhammad, who some may know as Sister Sarita Wright Muhammad. It was a time where she had invited some of the believers to come watch a performance that was happening in LA. This particular day we were all going to this dance performance. And I remember some of the sisters that wanted to go didn't have a ticket. But she was like, it's okay. And they were asking like, oh, can we come? And she's like, yeah, it's okay. We had a lot more sisters that were attending and no tickets. I'm thinking like, how are we about to pull this off? Like, this is about to be so awkward. The type of sister that Mother Tynnetta was, she was gonna make it happen. And sure enough, when we walked in there, as Allah is my witness, I just remember it was this Caucasian lady that came up to us, and I think she said like either something happened to her group or I don't know, something happened to where she had extra tickets that she didn't need. And I kid you not, it was the exact same amount of sisters that came along. In my head, I was like, oh, I know who you are because you just manifested this. I don't know how you did it because I had a whole bunch of doubt in my head. But I just remembered that, and that just like was showing me like the power that she had. To this day, it's like, how did that happen? Like the exact amount of tickets? I love Mother Tynnetta so much. She was like a grandmother to me and my sibling. We actually grew up calling her Nana because she was so close to my mother, Sister Sarita, and they did a lot of work together. And by the grace of Allah, through my mother's dedication and her work to the nation, is even how I was even able to be introduced to Mother Tynnetta. They shared similar visions and missions in the nation, which was bringing the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Islam to the world through dance, music, arts, and culture. I wish that everybody have a happy Mother's Day and a happy Mother's Day to our mother, Mother Tynnetta.
Mother Tynnetta was an example of walk by faith and not by sight. I was fortunate enough, and I had the experience of working with her with Taha. I had always assumed that Mother was trained, how she would edit and maneuver throughout the whole Taha experience. And I want you to do this, even the whirling dervishes and how we would move and how our dances, it needed to be in sync with the way that the music was playing. And she would say, no, play it this way or do it this way on every aspect. We were performing at a performance and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was there. And while we were performing, all of us were backstage. We were a ball of nerves. We were nervous. We don't know what to do. We're like scared. Mother says, if you have that, if you feel that feeling of nervousness, that's humility. And that means Allah is with you. So never back away from that feeling. I carried that with me throughout my life because, you know, that's a good thing to know. You don't have to shun or be fearful of that nervousness you may feel in the pit of your stomach. She is absolutely an inspiration. She is so beautiful, so down to earth, so humble, and I've been grateful to have experienced her in my life.
Thank you, Mother Tynnetta.
Thank you, Mother Tynnetta. We love you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Brother Marquise. One of the things I remember about Mother Tynnetta was her appreciation for art. I remember one day we went to a Chinese ballet and they had this big screen where many of the Chinese ballet dancers seemed like they were jumping out of the screen. They had a full orchestra and it was like one of the most amazing things that I had ever seen. And then that same day we went to Egyptian temple where we looked at different artifacts and these minerals and all this stuff. I'm so uncultured that half of the time I had to look at Mother Tynnetta to even see what I appreciate. So when they would be like, oh, this is this type of thing, and she would be like, oh, and I'll go, oh, we like that. Yes, Mother, I agree. I just was lost. I was really there like, man, it's an experience. I mean, the only person that I've seen that even met that level of just appreciating art was literally the Michael Jackson. That's the kind of frequency and level she lived on. One thing that I think is important about Mother Tynnetta that I really remember is that in the nation, sometimes we're real militant, masculine, sometimes even real rigid. And Mother floated through the nation. She offered us all balance. Like sometimes she talked in so many degrees, so many frequencies that you literally have to live and grow into wisdom. And then one day you go, that's what she was talking about. She knew. We're all better because we got a chance to live in the time of the great immortal Mother Tynnetta.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Sister Nilam, and a special memory that I have with Mother Tynnetta was participating in her Taha. I was one of the little dancing girls on the stage, and the most inspiring thing about that whole experience was watching Mother Tynnetta produce and bring her vision and art to life. It was amazing. And some of us were a bit nervous to go on stage, and the words that Mother Tynnetta gave us converted our fear into excitement, and it was just amazing to be a part of that experience. Also, it was from Mother Tynnetta that I heard the saying that music is a universal language, and I tried to implement that in my life, as well as she was such an amazing example of friendships of all walks of life. I also try to implement that in my life. Mother Tynnetta was beautiful inside and out. She was feminine, radiant, and honestly just a huge inspiration to me. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Mother Tynnetta. I am so inspired by Mother Tynnetta on so many different levels. She is such a pristine example of what it means to, first of all, be a woman and do it all. Drawing from her studies of the teachings and diving deeply into, our lessons and using that as a medium for creative expression, as a medium for connecting with people from all different walks of life, and just being a living example of what it means to be a woman of God. I'm so inspired by Mother Tynnetta, and I'm so grateful that we have her as an example for us as women to model ourselves after. She is such a treasure, and I thank Allah for Mother Tynnetta.
Mother Tynnetta inspires me because of her wisdom and full expression of the feminine culture of Islam. She was a fierce warrior who, through the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, stunned the world of scholarship. Mother Tynnetta made connections with the original family by planning and saw the beauty of Allah through science, art, and music. She was a world traveler with deep insight and gave us so much knowledge through experiences. Mother Tynnetta Muhammad is a prime example of women in the nation of Islam who are intellectual giants. She was the embodiment of divine feminine and encouraged other young women to manifest the same in their Islam. She was an inspiring speaker, writer, poet, and a true star among us. We thank Allah for Mother Tynnetta Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Sister Amira. I'm 21 years old. I'm an MGT Vanguard, I'm a violinist, and I'm passionate about all things relating to the arts and culture. I am very much inspired by Mother Tynnetta Muhammad and her work. Specifically, I can connect it to experiences being younger and just remembering how I felt most connected to the events, for example, at our Savior's Day conventions that related to arts and culture. Primarily, those events were Mother Tynnetta's productions, where she incorporated music and dance and acting and visual art and compositions, her compositions. I just remember so deeply how much I enjoyed seeing that in such a big scale, and it helped me to find essentially what I'm passionate about, what I love studying, seeing an opportunity for me to not only contribute to the mission, but help to make the teachings so universal, in which I also feel and observe and inspired by how she took delegations of women and took them around the world to show them how there is so much that we can contribute to, so much we can learn from, and bring that to our teachings to develop ourselves as women. I'm just so thankful to Allah for her example and for her work, and I pray that with what I'm passionate about in arts and culture, that I can contribute to continuing what she was so passionate about in her work. So all praise is due to Allah. I thank you for just a few brief moments to share some words.
Mother Tynnetta inspires me because of her ability to express her creativity. Now, I remember joining the Nation of Islam and then doing my research and coming across Mother Tynnetta and watching a few of her lectures and seeing how beautiful she was and how easy it was for her to just be herself while on the rostrum. That she plays instruments, that she's really into meditation, that she designs garments, and that she started several businesses. She was also a world traveler. And I remember as being a young Muslim and being an entrepreneur myself, how inspiring that was to see a Muslim woman doing it and doing it successful. She is one of the reasons why I am so quick to just share my creativity now. I feel obligated to share with the world what Allah has blessed me with, and I honestly got that. I can say that I got that from her. All praise due to Allah, from Mother Tynnetta Muhammad.
Mother Tynnetta inspires me as an example of a world leader, of a world traveler, of a precise scholar, and of a Muslim woman who lives her life to the absolute fullest. Knowing that Muslim women like her existed always gave me the inspiration to know that I could accomplish anything that I put my mind to. Seeing how she used to work out her creativity and knowing that there were no limits when you really study and root yourself in Islam, that there's no limit to what you can do. I mean, she was a composer, a fashion designer. I'm wearing one of the 19s that she designed right now. She was an ambassador. She was a real and true scholar. Like, she was an absolute amazing person. I just think about her when I think about how to work out the creativity that I have within me as well. So I'll always be thankful for her.
I knew who she was. I knew that she existed, but I kind of only started studying up on Mother Tynnetta in 2018. The moment that I started like looking up her stuff and seeing what she studied and her articles on Final Call and seeing like what she dedicated her life to, of course Islam, but the deeper spiritual studies and things like that, I was like, wow. Somebody like me exists that I can see and just study. It was like a breath of fresh air to see somebody who is so interested in something that I'm specifically guided to study in the same way. So we know and we see that most of the things that we do now are heavily inspired by her presence and what she brought to the table. Even though I was not able to meet her when she was here with us, I see her every day, and all the things that we have a part of our nation. Everything that we do, the foundations of everything that we have is heavily inspired by, what she brought to the table.
Mother Tynnetta inspires me because she has always been a faithful and diligent student. She was a world traveler, a seeker of knowledge and wisdom, and she truly was the embodiment for me of a woman accepting her own and being herself. She always used the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a measuring stick in her studies, and she uses them to correlate history, events, and some of the things that she learned when she was traveling. She will always be an inspiration to me as a young woman growing in Islam. So, happy Earth Day, Mother Tynnetta.